Okay, good evening, everyone. We are on the record. Today is Wednesday, the 30th day of June, 2021. This is a regular meeting of the Jersey City Municipal Council. In effort to adhere to social distancing protocols and best practices imposed by the city and state authorities, the city of Jersey City has canceled all public meetings and closed non-essential services as of March 16, 2020 until further notice. As a result, this council meeting will be held virtually as a video conference with public access. We had a scheduled 6 p.m. start. The clock on my computer is showing 6:02 p.m. May I have a roll call for the commencement of this meeting? Councilperson Ridley, is she going to be out for the entire meeting?
Here.
Oh, there she is. I'm sorry, Councilperson Ridley. Councilperson Prinzeri.
Here.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Here.
Councilperson Saleh.
Here.
You guys are sneaking up on us. Okay. Councilperson Solomon.
Here.
Councilperson Robinson.
Here.
Councilperson Lavaro.
Here.
And Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Here.
So Council President Waterman will not be in attendance for the entire meeting. So we have 8 council members in attendance at 6:02 p.m. May we kindly rise for a moment of silence, please.
Audley Fuqua.
If you wouldn't mind just emailing me the names, I greatly appreciate it, or text, either one works. Thank you.
Yeah, Audley Fuqua, we did a resolution form.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Kindly remain standing as we salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. On behalf of Council President Pro Temp Rivera, in accordance with New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, Chapter 231, the Open Public Meetings Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the posting on the bulletin board of the first floor of City Hall, the annual notice, which is the schedule of meetings and caucuses of the Municipal Council for the calendar year 2021, and filed in the office of the City Clerk on Wednesday, November 12th, 2020. In addition, at its time of its preparation, the agenda of this meeting was similarly disseminated on Friday, June 25th, 2020 at 2 p.m. to the Municipal Council, Mayor, Business Administrator, Corporation Council, and the local newspapers, and posted on the city's website, so I can certify as to our total compliance with the Sunshine Law. All right, council members, we're going to move right on to our first reading ordinances. I'm going to start with the first one. First reading ordinance, item 3.1, City Ordinance 21-034, an ordinance accepting from Maple Street Row LLC a dedication of certain newly constructed rights of way that extend Maple Street and Garabant Street. Item 3.2, City Ordinance 21-048. Am I correct, Business Administrator John Metro, we are withdrawing this first reading ordinance?
That's correct, City Clerk. Thank you. Council, we're just working through some additional information with pursuant to the deed information. So we don't want to introduce this and then have to reintroduce it if there's any substantial changes. So we thought it'd be best to finalize that process and then bring it back for a first reading.
Thank you. Thank you, BA. All right, and I'll move on to item 3.3, City Ordinance 21-049, a franchise ordinance granting permission to 144 First Street Holdings LLC for the installation of a 5-foot diameter covered manhole along an oversized tree pit to house a control structure for sanitary sewer detention system, 2 house trap cleanout caps and decorative planters along Provost Street at Block 11502, Lot 6, also known as 144 First Street, encroaching onto the right-of-way, excuse me. Item 3.4, City Ordinance 21-050, a bond ordinance of the City of Jersey City and the County of Hudson, New Jersey, providing for the acquisition, installation, and construction of various items of energy conservation equipment and improvements, appropriating an amount not exceeding $9 million, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $8,550,000 general obligation bonds or notes of the City of Jersey City for financing a portion of the cost thereof. Item 3.5, City Ordinance 21-051, a refunding bond ordinance of the City of Jersey City and the County of Hudson, New Jersey, providing for the acquisition and installation and construction of various items of energy conservation equipment and improvements in connection with energy savings improvement program of the city, excuse me, appropriating an amount not exceeding $7,700,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $7,700,000 general obligation refunding bonds or notes of the City of Jersey City for financing all or a portion of the cost thereof. Council members, I'm going to be taking a vote on items 3.1 through 3.5, with the exception of 3.2, which has been withdrawn. Councilperson Ridley.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson LaBarra.
Just a couple of comments on 3.1. Thank you for, as per the business administrator, our historic officer, Maggie O'Neill, says that this area is not within a locally designated historic district. And so I want to also say thanks to Kate, Mr. Fearon, and Schneider Electric for their information with regard to ordinances 3.4 and 3.5. And I vote aye for introduction.
You and Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Aye.
Okay, if I could just recap, items 3.1 through 3.5 are approved 8-0 with the exception of 3.2, which has been withdrawn, and with Council President Waterman absent. Okay, ladies and gentlemen who are watching at home, members of the public, anyone wishing to speak on a second reading ordinance, this is the time to stay by your phones and to let us know that you're wishing to speak on a particular item. You would do that by providing me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we'll patch you through the meeting. Okay, with that being said, on to our first second reading ordinance, item 4.1, City Ordinance 21-041, an ordinance of the City of Jersey City supplementing Chapter 131, the Construction Uniform Code, adding Article 2 requiring gender-neutral bathroom signage for single-user restrooms. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number, and we will patch you through the meeting. I believe we have our first speaker on the line. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Yvonne
Okay.
Bolson.
Okay, Yvonne,
Okay.
your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. For years, many places had single restroom signs. I've been aware of them for about 50 years. So if you want to correct something, how about correcting what happened in Target 5 years ago when a guy walked into a Target and recorded a woman trying on clothes and nothing happened to him? This incident was actually appeared in the Jersey Journal about 5 years ago. Then recently in California, there was a man walking around fully nude, claiming he was a woman with a fully adult male body. unsettling the woman in the spa. I bring this up because there is no way having a sign that says LB person on the door discriminates against anyone, because single restrooms have been around for, like I said, at least 50 years, because I've seen them that far back. But I really feel as though my rights as a woman in a secure place is being violated by making sure we go overboard for the LGBT community. And I think that has to be addressed, because, you know, people up there, you have daughters, you have wives, and you have mothers, and you're putting your daughters and your wives and your mothers at risk. And that's all I want to say. It's not an anti-LGBT issue. It's the idea that you can't overboard for one group while totally putting on blinders as these things happen. Personally speaking, when I was 15, I had to take swimming in high school. I had to share a locker with women, taking a shower. I would drop out of school today. There's no way I would want to have a young guy coming in there saying that he is a female taking a shower with me. I wouldn't have it. So I think there has to be a balance in things today, and it's not being done at all. Thank you very much.
Okay, this is still a public hearing on City Ordinance 21-041. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number, and we will patch you through the meeting. Just bear with us as we get our next caller on the line. Okay, I believe we have our next speaker on the line. If you can identify yourself for the record, please. Is Wiley on the line?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I was waiting for someone to say my name. All right. Yes, Wiley is there.
Hold on, Wiley. So your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Great. Hey, everyone. My name is Wiley Tanay. I'm a resident of Jersey City. My phone number is 310-770-4193, if that's what you still needed. I want to first thank Councilmember Solomon for responding to my email request about this important issue and bringing up the ordinance for a vote. I was coming home one day to Jersey City, and I walked into a restroom to a restaurant that had 2 bathrooms that only one person could use at a time, and one was called men and one was called women. And I thought to myself, well, that just seems silly because only one person can use it at a time. So why did it need to be specified and gendered? And it also felt a little bit divisive because there are some folks in our community who don't identify as man or woman. So I reached out to Councilmember Solomon to suggest this idea of passing an ordinance that would tell businesses and public spaces that if they have single-use bathrooms, that they should be ungendered, and that they could just have a sign that says restroom or bathroom or toilet, or if they wanted to be more inclusive, include a sign that said gender-neutral bathroom. This is a very simple and small ordinance, I think, but it's a very powerful message to the trans folks in our community to let them know that they are welcomed and part of Jersey City. All over the country, we're seeing news stories about trans folks being victimized, discriminated against in cities and counties and states all over. And Jersey City is a city that prides itself on its diversity and inclusivity. And like I said, I think this would be an easy way to live up to that live up to that honor of being a diverse and inclusive city. So again, I want to thank Councilman Solomon for bringing this ordinance up for a vote, and I urge the council to approve it, and I hope it passes.
Okay, thank you very much. This is still a public hearing on ordinance 21-041. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. I believe we have our next speaker on the line. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Cedric.
Cedric?
Jacoby.
Okay, Cedric, your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
I think the thing with gender neutral bathrooms, I just feel like I don't think that it should be a decision. It should be like we should be able to go to the bathroom when we want to go to the bathroom. You know, I don't think it should be a debate. I don't think it should be, we shouldn't have to be indecisive of whether if it should be passed. We should just be able to go to the bathroom. As a male of trans experience, I've experienced being discriminated because of going to certain bathrooms. Most likely, there's times that they would eliminate the male's bathroom because of the capacity and the waiting of the line and using a woman's bathroom, and then having women freak out because they see a man in the bathroom. But it's not our fault that the franchise let us use the bathroom. But then it seems like it's an issue. So all these protests is going on about the bathroom situation. Well, we shouldn't have to be knocked down because we want to use the bathroom and however we identify. That's like saying a trans woman going into the male's bathroom because she got to use the bathroom the way how she wants to use the bathroom. And people want to judge her because the way how she sits or stands up to use the bathroom. I don't feel like anybody should be judged on the way how they pursue themselves into the bathroom, because when you're using the bathroom, it's nobody's business to know what you do behind the stall. So my opinion on the situation, there shouldn't even be no debate. We should just use the bathroom when we want to use the bathroom. I don't understand why there's an issue at all times. I just hope that our community realizes that our business is our business when we use any bathroom we rely on. And however we identify, it shouldn't even matter how we use the bathroom. I just hope it really does pass.
Okay, thank you very much. This is still a public hearing on ordinance 21-041. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. I believe we have our next speaker on the line. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Gary Spingarn.
Okay, Gary, your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
So like a prior caller has stated, this is a layup when it comes to public policy. It is a very easy, small step. And for anyone listening and perhaps it feels defensive or has their guard up, this applies to already existing single stall, single-use bathrooms. No different than the bathroom you have in your house or apartment. This is a layup. Again, not only is it just more efficient, it rids us of an unnecessary, alienating, discriminatory practice. The only thing that I will add when it comes to adding signage to gender-neutral bathrooms, a lot of restaurants have tended to get a little cute with it, or they've done jokes. They put like robots or a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and it says, whatever you are. I've seen this before, and at first I didn't think any of it until I heard from a bunch of people within the community, and it's, again, actually quite alienating. It's belittling and quite frankly dehumanizing. So once the signage goes up, I would ask that perhaps we add to the ordinance that the signage that goes up doesn't have any examples of this. It's straightforward and to the point. Again, I hope this bill passes. This is a real easy, small step and a layup. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. As we finish speaking on the ordinance, we can just hang up the line so we can get the next speaker through. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. So this is still a public hearing on City Ordinance 21-041. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. I believe we have our next speaker on the line. If you can identify yourself for the record, please. Hello, are you there? Do we have our next speaker on the line?
Yes, this is Reverend
your
Laurie
name?
Worm.
Your name?
My name is Reverend Laurie Worm.
Okay, your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening. My name again is Reverend Laurie Worm. I'm the rector at Grace Church Van Voorst. I wanted to just share a very quick anecdote. 2 years ago, I baptized the first identified in our books intersex child into this congregation, and it was astounding to see 160 years of S and M and be the first person to put an I into the book. And when I talked to that child about his baptism, because he's also he was of age to understand what we were doing, I told Charlie that God made him, he identifies as him, exactly the way that God intended for him to be able to share something with the world that the world has never known, and that he was beloved by God. And it made me realize that I wanted to make sure that this entire city is safe for Charlie and for transgendered members of our congregation and of our city. And I want to make sure that what I told Charlie at his baptism is affirmed everywhere he goes in this wonderful city. And so I very much hope that you will pass Ordinance 4.1. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay, this is still a public hearing on City Ordinance 21-041. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. I believe we have our next speaker on the line. If you can identify yourself for the record, please. Okay, they're coming through. Excuse me. Okay, I believe we have our next speaker on the line. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Jean Daly.
Okay, Jean, your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yes, actually, I was kind of thinking about the signage myself personally and what was to be used. Beyond that, I'm just wanting to confirm it's only for the existing single bathrooms, not necessarily a woman's room that's got 4 stalls. So I just wanted to make sure it was just the single ones. But the question I have is, say, for example, the people who own, say, restaurants who own these facilities, will they be required to, say, remove the urinals from a male stall? I'm just curious how that works. Will there be any type of inspections of this, and how is that going to happen? That's really about it. But again, just what the signs will be and how it will change anything. I don't see much in the way of change, but anything to make people feel more inclusive. I just want to know what the constraints are, and will people have to take out, therefore, urinals or something to that effect? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. This is still a public hearing on City Ordinance 21-041. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number, and we'll patch you through the meeting. I believe we have our next speaker on the line. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Hi, this is Danielle Freire.
Okay, Danielle, your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. This is Danielle Freire, Jersey City resident in Ward D. Calling in to express my support for the ordinance that, number 21-041, calling for gender-neutral bathroom signage for single-user restrooms. Thank you to Councilman Solomon for introducing this ordinance. We must continue to create an inclusive environment for all Jersey City residents. This ordinance is about safety and dignity for the LGBTQIA+ community, but also has additional benefits for other community members. I'm going to list a couple. Gender-neutral bathrooms create safe spaces for transgender, gender non-conforming, and non-binary people. Having all businesses convert single-use bathrooms into gender-neutral ones will make Jersey City a city that is inclusive and welcoming to all. Gender-neutral bathrooms don't only benefit LGBTQIA people, but also parents, caregivers who are looking after children or persons with disabilities that are of the opposite sex. Gender-neutral bathrooms also create workspaces that make workers feel comfortable and valued. And finally, in terms of practicality, gender-neutral bathrooms save businesses money and space. They no longer need the space for two segregated bathrooms and can save money on maintenance and cleaning. So that's just a little summary of all the benefits. Thank you so much, Councilman Solomon, for once again stepping up and sharing your values and making sure that Jersey City is inclusive. So thank you so much. I yield my time.
Thank you so much. Okay. This is still a public hearing on City Ordinance 21-041. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. Just bear with us as we get our next speaker on the line. Okay, we're just trying to get our next speaker patched through. Just bear with us. Okay, I believe we have our next speaker on the line. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Stephen Straquatanio.
Okay, Stephen, your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm going to keep it pretty short, simple, and sweet. I don't agree with this, and for many various reasons, but for the length of time of the things that I want to discuss, I won't get too into it. But one of the things I do want to bring up, one of the previous speakers, the Reverend, talked about how, you know, God made transgender children perfect in his image. And I think you should go back and read your Bible, because you are corrupting your morals in that sense, because that is not where love from God comes from. And I really think that's hate. I mean, you're trying to put something that is not supposed to be tied with God in the first place, and then yet saying this is what it is. I think you are preaching from the wrong gospel. I think you should go back to it. I would love to discuss this with you, you know, privately or with anything else, but just want to say I don't agree with it. If you guys pass it, hey, that's on you, but just wanted to go ahead and say that. Thank you.
Okay, this is still a public hearing on City Ordinance 21-041. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. Okay, this is the last call for the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-041. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number, and we will patch you through the meeting. Okay, council members, before I ask for a motion, I did have a member of the public, Carol Levine, contact me for a statement she would like me to read into the record during the public hearing. And this is what she wrote. I am writing in support of Ordinance 21-041 proposed by Council Member James Solomon to make all single stall bathrooms throughout the city gender neutral. It is a simple step towards ensuring that our trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming neighbors have equal access to basic services and a quality of life on par with their CIS neighbors. Gender-neutral single-stall bathrooms make life harder for no one and easier for countless folks. Thank you for continuing to support the beautiful diversity of our community. That was Carolyn Levine, resident of the Heights. So no one else has contacted me through the live event Q&A. May I have a motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-041?
Motion.
Motion made by Council President Pro Temp Rivera. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilperson Ridley. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-041, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Lavarro.
Aye.
Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-041 for final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 21-041. Councilperson Ridley.
I just want to reiterate, I know some of the callers did state, but this is not for bathrooms that have multiple stalls. This is for bathrooms that are a room with a toilet in it. So no one is sending anyone into the restroom with anyone else. These are single stall use bathrooms. And so with that, I vote aye.
Thank you, Councilperson Prinzary.
Thank you to Council Solomon for putting this forward. As one of the callers pointed out, it's a small step, but it's an easy step. But this is something that we're already seeing in many places, so it just makes sense to have it codified. You know, also too, as a woman having to wait for single stall bathrooms, I can also appreciate this. So with that, I vote aye.
Thank you, Councilperson Baggiano.
Yeah, what Denise said is absolutely correct. They're single-use bathrooms. They have a lock on it. I don't see what the big deal is about it. So I vote aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
I'm in favor of this. I thank Councilman Solomon for bringing this to the floor. I do have concerns regarding the enforcement of this and how, you know, it will be enforced on the businesses, and that's my only concern, but I do vote aye. Thank you.
Councilperson Solomon.
I want to thank Wiley, who spoke today, Liz Shadow with Hudson Pride, and a number of leaders in LGBTQ community who reached out to encourage us to draft and then pass the ordinance. Thank you to my colleagues for advancing it. And just to reiterate what everyone said, it is a small and important step for the city to demonstrate that it is a truly inclusive city, that everyone has a right to feel safe in a public space, and that we should take any action that is within our power to take to make folks in the transgender community, people who are non-binary and gender non-conforming, feel safe and included in our city. So with that, I vote aye.
Thank you. Councilperson Solomon.
I just voted aye.
Sorry. Councilperson Robinson.
You trying to give James, Councilperson Solomon 2 votes?
No.
I'm going to take that vote. It's not, I'm going to use that as a mulligan later.
Probably deserve it. You guys know I own the Light Rail Cafe, and we have single-use stalls there, and we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, and we've always been, gender neutral. So I definitely vote aye. I mean, I understand that what happens when people have to wait for a bathroom, but I understand that, we should all be looking to make this world a better place. And I think this is a step in the right direction. I vote aye.
Thank you, Councilperson Robinson. Councilperson Lavaro.
So I'm sure, I know I've been at restaurants or bars or other locations where it's single-use restrooms. And there might be people waiting online. Particularly, I've had it happen particularly with, as Councilperson Pederi said, for the women's line. The women, and then the men's room is opened up, and I've said to a woman, if you want to go, you're waiting online, you've been waiting a long time, go ahead and go before me. And I'm sure we've all had that experience happen to themselves as well. I mean, it happens all the time, and this is exactly that situation, a single-use restroom. And so I'm not looking to pick a fight here, but for folks who are really opposed to this, it happens every day, and this goes on normally. People go into single-use restrooms, men go into the women's room, and women go into the men's room because it's unoccupied. And so you have to ask yourself, why are you getting so reactivated or activated about this? Like it literally already happens and it already occurs, and it's simply changing the signage in those places to make it possible for people of all, whatever gender you want to choose to identify as, or not at all, to be able to utilize that same bathroom that's already happening today as it stands. So that's the first point I want to make. The second thing I just want to say, thank you to Wiley, Councilman Solomon, the advocates as well, Reverend Worm and others who spoke tonight. I forget who it was that said it, but it is a small thing, but it is important, and it's a message, right? And so with this action, taking a message that Councilman Solomon took the leadership here on, and with all of the social upheaval that's happened and all of the hatred that's been spewed in the past year or so, and the idea that we are the most diverse city in the entire nation, for us to take these small steps to show our diversity and inclusion, to demonstrate our values, to show that what we stand for, and that we protect all of our neighbors and communities here in Jersey City. It's a small but meaningful, impactful step. I'm reminded, and I'm changing it up a little bit here, that it's not enough to be to not just be biased, to be against bias, but you have to be actively anti-biased, right? So we have to be able to take steps to say that, to call that out, right? So I'm going to say to the folks who are activated by this, there's really the issue. I think you should probably re-examine and kind of look in the mirror a little bit and ask yourself some questions about what it is that's causing you to really be upset and frustrated here, because there's a community of folks who are not harming anybody and not causing you or anyone else any problems or challenges there. They're just looking for inclusion and for acceptance. And if you have a problem with that, maybe the problem rests with you. And so I vote aye, proudly.
Thank you, Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
I mean, I think that, this sets the precedences for future ordinances, and and it makes us an example for other cities. I don't think this is a small thing at all. I think this is a big breakthrough and a step in the right direction. And you know, this is something that, you know, it's the right thing to do. And 100%, you know, I vote aye on this. Thank you, James Solomon, Councilman Solomon, for this. And listen, just, you know, we're looking forward, like I said, you know, this is big. So thank you for that. I vote aye.
Thank you. City Ordinance 21-041 is adopted 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent. On to our next second reading ordinance, item 4.2, City Ordinance 21-042, an ordinance transferring the Division of Purchasing and Central Services from Chapter 3, Administration of Government, Article 6, Department of Administration, Section 51, Purchasing, Division of Purchasing and Central Services to the Department of Finance in Chapter 3, Administration of Government, Article 13, Department of Finance of the Jersey City Municipal Code. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. Okay, this is the last call for the public hearing on ordinance 21-042. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number, and we will patch you through the meeting through the live event Q&A. Okay, council members, no one has contacted me through the live event Q&A. May I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 21-042?
Motion.
Motion made by Councilperson Prinzary. May I have a second? May I have a second on the motion?
Second.
Second by Councilperson Saleh. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-042, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Navarro.
Aye.
And Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0 with Councilperson Waterman absent to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-042. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 21-042, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon. Councilperson Solomon.
Apologize, I was muted. Aye.
Thank you. I was going to maybe count your vote from the last ordinance. Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Navarro.
Aye.
And Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Mr. Clerk, you took the words right out of my mouth with that last statement. But yeah, I vote aye.
Thank you. City Ordinance 21-042 is approved, is adopted 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent. On to our next second reading ordinance, item 4.3, City Ordinance 21-043, an ordinance transferring the Division of Payroll from Chapter 3, Administration of Government, Article 13, Department of Finance, Section 113-.3, Division of Payroll to the Department of Human Resources, Chapter 3, Administration of Government, Article 18, Department of Human Resources of the Jersey City Municipal Code. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. Okay, this is the last call for the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-043. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. Okay, council members, no one has contacted me through the live event Q&A. May I have a motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-043?
Motion.
Motion made by Council President Pro Temp Rivera, and it was a close second, but I have to give the second to Councilperson Saleh. He was definitely first. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-043, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Respectfully agree to disagree with you on that, Sean. Aye.
My computer heard him first. I'm sorry. Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Lavaro.
Aye.
And Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-043. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 21-043, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Lavaro.
Aye.
And Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Aye.
City Ordinance 21-043 is adopted 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent. On to our next second reading ordinance, item 4.4, City Ordinance 21-044, an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Traffic Regulations, amending Section 332-9, Stop Intersections, designating Fairmont Avenue and Storms Avenue, and Hoboken Avenue and Monmouth Street as always stop controlled intersections. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. Okay, I believe we have a caller who wants to call in. Or to be called, sorry. So while we get that caller on the line, just please bear with us. Okay, I believe we have our speaker on the call. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Yes, my first name is Brittany, last name is Bunny.
Okay, Brittany, your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, I just moved back to Jersey City 4 months ago, and I live in the area of Hoboken Avenue and Monmouth Street, which is extremely dangerous for cyclists and pedestrians. So I wanted to thank Councilman Baggiano for working with me to get the stop sign. It's desperately needed and very much appreciated. So I just wanted to call in to say thank you to him and to the council for passing this resolution, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. If we can just hang up the line so then we can get our next speaker patched through. This is still a public hearing on City Ordinance 21-044. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number, and we will patch you through the meeting through the live event Q&A. Okay, this is the last call for the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-044. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. Okay, council members, no one else has contacted me through the live event Q&A. May I have a motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-044?
Motion.
Motion made by Council President Pro Temp Rivera. May I have a second?
Second.
I'm going to give that second before I get beat up to Councilperson Prinzeri.
Oh.
On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-044, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzeri.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Navarro.
This is the close?
Yes, sir.
Aye.
And Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0 to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-044 with Council President Waterman absent. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 21-044, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzeri.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Navarro.
I was going to vote yes, but hearing that Brittany Bunny is back and that she's behind this, I'm reconsidering. Just kidding. I vote yes.
Council President Pro Temp
Hi,
Rivera.
Brittany. Councilman Navarro, you almost gave me chest pain with that. I vote aye.
Oh, we're having fun with this council meeting. Okay. City Ordinance 21-044 is adopted 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent. On to our next ordinance, item 4.5, City Ordinance 21-046, an ordinance amending Chapter 242, Peace and Good Order of the Municipal Code requiring outdoor businesses in industrial and light industrial zones within 1,500 100 feet of residential zones to limit operations between 7 o'clock in the evening and 6 o'clock in the morning. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. Okay, this is the last call on the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-046. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. Okay, council members, no one has contacted me through the live event Q&A. May I have a motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-046?
Motion.
Motion made by Council President Pro Temp Rivera. May I have a second?
Second. Beat ya.
Seconded by Councilperson Baggiano.
Yes.
I'd
And
say that
I beat the other one before too, but that's okay.
louder doesn't mean faster.
Okay, so on the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-046, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Lavaro.
Aye.
And Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-046. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 21-046, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Lavaro.
Aye.
And Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Aye.
City Ordinance 21-046 is adopted 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent. On to our last second reading ordinance, item 4.6, City Ordinance 21-047. Excuse me, an ordinance authorizing the City of Jersey City to execute a 3-year lease with the Jersey City Economic Development Corporation for the use of Block 22502, lots 36 and 37, more commonly known by the street address of 351 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, excuse me, for nonprofit economic development purposes for the public benefit of the Jersey City community. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number, and we will, through the live event Q&A, we'll patch you through the meeting. Looks like we have a couple of people we need to call, so just bear with us while we get them on the line. Okay, just bear with us, ladies and gentlemen, everybody. We're trying to get our next speaker on the line and patch through the meeting.
Hello.
Okay, I believe we have our next speaker on the line. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Yes, this is June Jones.
Okay, June, your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening, Council. Good talk on the earlier proposal for the neutral gender bathrooms. We talked a lot about diversity and inclusion. I'd like to see some diversity and inclusion on how nonprofits in general that service Jersey City get space from Jersey City with consideration for a nominal fee. Coming out of the COVID pandemic and all of the hardships, financial hardships that have been exerted upon many businesses, particularly nonprofits, and my nonprofit especially, losing staff and other services, I would like to be able, it would be helpful for us to be able to negate these expenses in operations, certainly helping with the operating budgets. So we meet the criteria that are outlined in the resolution as a facility used for public purpose. We are tax exempt, and we're a nonprofit. So I'd like to know if there is a special process through the Department of Diversity and Inclusion, or the City of Jersey City has, that we can use to apply to bid for this special treatment as well. And what is the process for consideration? Thank you.
Okay, this is still a public hearing on City Ordinance 21-047. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. Okay, well, looks like we have another speaker to call. Just bear with us while we get that speaker on the line. And if anyone has spoken already, if you can just hang up the line so we can get our next speaker patched through, I greatly appreciate it. Okay, I believe we have our next speaker on the line. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Jean Daly.
Okay, Jean, your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
I have to echo and support what Ms. June Jones had stated. There seems to be a special sort of relationship between the Jersey City Economic Development Board, which is a private nonprofit, and the City of Jersey City. And it seems to me that other nonprofits who also fall in the same category, except for the relationship on the Jersey City website, how can they access these free public spaces? They do great service. They could use free spaces for meetings, fundraising, etc. And I feel it is completely unfair that no one else seems to be open or be given access to these freebies, if you will, or nominal cost or no cost. And I support Ms. Jones. She's a brilliant woman, and she knows for which she's speaking. And I believe there has to be some type of channel for other nonprofits to use the resources that the city has. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is still a public hearing on City Ordinance 21-047. Any member of the public still wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting.
Okay. So.
Okay, this is the last call for the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-047. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. Okay, council members, no one else has contacted me through the live event Q&A. May I have a motion to close? the public-
Motion.
On ordinance 21-047. If you can let me finish the motion, I greatly appreciate it, but I'll give it to Councilperson Baggiano. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilperson Prinzary. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-047, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano.
I just wanted to beat the princess. Aye.
Oh my goodness. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
It must be the end of June. Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Labarro.
Aye to close.
And Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0 to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 21-047 with Council President Waterman absent. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 21-047, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Labarro.
So I had requested information regarding kind of the Container Village program and what's going on there at this site. I did speak with the Assistant Business Administrator, who said he will get it to me tomorrow. And so I'm going to receive that information. And what I wanted to see is kind of how we're, to the point that was raised by some of the speakers, what businesses are occupying that and kind of what's the process there. And I think they raised some very good points about kind of what's the process and transparency around that. How can other businesses have access to it as well? Nonprofits have access to these container villages, the village of containers, and how they can, small businesses and other pop-up businesses can take advantage of the opportunities that are being presented there at the lot. I would ask that the Economic Development Corporation provide transparency in their process of seeking businesses to occupy these spaces, and that they make it open and transparent for the community to be able to be a part of that. The other thing that I would add is that you have the Jackson Hill SID. I know in the past I've raised this question with regard to what their participation is, and I was hoping to see that in the report as well, to see that the what kind of role they're playing in this in the selection of businesses that are occupying the spaces there. So I don't have that information. I don't know where that stands, and I appreciate them letting me know that they'll get me the report tomorrow. That being said, I'm going to vote yes. As one caller pointed out, I think it was Gene pointed out that there is a special relationship between the Jersey City Economic Development Corporation and the city. It's appointed members come from the mayor. And there's mayoral appointees there. So it's not, that's not, I want to say that's not hidden, but that's That's the nature of the relationship between that Economic Development Corporation, and I was a member of it on that trustees when I was the president, because the president of the city council also sits on that board as well. So would ask that the Economic Development Corporation provide transparency there, and then also get that report on how it's been going to date, and that we involve our local businesses from the area around that. And if we are doing that, then just want to know how that's being done. I vote aye at this time.
You and Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
I vote aye.
Okay, City Ordinance 21-047 is approved 8-0, is adopted 8-0, excuse me, with Council President Waterman absent. Okay, that concludes our second reading ordinances. We're going to move on to our Special Improvement District Assessment Public Hearings. We have two of them tonight. The first one is a public hearing on the 2021-2022 Exchange Place Alliance Special Improvement District Assessment Roll and Budget. This is a public hearing on this Special Improvement District. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number, and we will, through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. I believe there are a few people we need to call who have signed up to speak on this budget and assessment roll, so just bear with us while we get them on the call. Okay, I believe we have our first speaker on the call. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Alice Wozniak, representing the Committee for the Catton Monument and Historic Objects. And
Okay,
I'd like
Alice.
to speak in.
Alice, just give me a second while I give you a countdown. Your time is
Okay.
going to start on my countdown, which is going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi, this is Alice Wozniak. I'm speaking on behalf of the Committee for the Conservation of the Catton Monument and Historic Objects. And I'm speaking in favor of the Exchange Place Alliance budget. I think it's great, and I'm looking forward for us moving forward with this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is still a public hearing on the 2021-2022 Exchange Place Alliance Special Improvement District and Assessment Roll and Budget. If any member of the public would like to speak, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. I believe we have our next speaker on the line. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
This is Krystyna Piłkowska.
Okay, Christina, your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Council members, I'm speaking in opposition to the current format of the proposal for the renovation of Exchange Place. As I've said in my statement that I've emailed to you, you'll be considering expenditures of $7.5 million for a purported renovation of Exchange Place to become a needed green space in Jersey City. You know that the CID has not made any documents available to the community despite repeated requests made to the CID in writing and otherwise. I'd like you to look at the image that I enclosed on the first page of the documents, where you can clearly see that the access road, which is being approved to drive into and approach two buildings privately owned, the hotel and Hart's Mountain, is over 40 feet wide and in its narrowest space, and it is 50 feet wide in its widest spaces. It will remove 37% of Exchange Place from public use. It's going to also require that the apron which surrounds the Cutting Memorial be removed, as well as the steps which surround the plinth, which means that the trucks and the vehicles that will be using that driveway, this now private driveway, will be passing within 10 feet or 15 feet of the monument. Clearly, if we had access to newer documents, maybe I'd be proved wrong, but unfortunately the CID has refused to give any documents. I'd also like to ask you to look at the second image that I've enclosed in the document, and you will see how access to the Exchange Place quote-unquote park will be limited coming from Montgomery Street. People will need to cross the access road, that 30, 40-foot wide access road, in order to access the green space. At this point in time, I have to ask you whether this is an appropriate way to access a park where small children will be playing. Once you remove these walkways and these entranceways, or the open access to the park, it makes it much more difficult. I'd also like to remind you that the work is actually supposed to start in 2 months. The Exchange Place Alliance has stated, as of last Wednesday, that there are no filings made with the Traffic Department, the Army Corps of Engineers, the Coast Guard, or others.
Christina,
Again,
your time has ended.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this is still a public hearing on the 2021-2022 Exchange Place Alliance Special Improvement District Assessment Roll and Budget. Any members of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. I believe we have our next speaker on the line. Jean, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yes, my name is Jean Daly. I'd like to affirm what Mr. Boggiano said at the caucus meeting on Monday, that in fact there is a lawsuit against the Exchange Place Alliance. And I would advise everyone to look at it first before they make a decision, and direct all questions to the attorney Walter M. Luers, L-U-E-R-S. There is a big issue with the Exchange Place Alliance and how they handle their meetings. It's all outlined within the lawsuit itself. Additionally, other things that I've posted on Twitter, etc., shows the way that some of us, including myself, have been escorted out by security and police by Mr. DeMarco at the time. Everyone, I'm sure, has seen how way he ripped the phone out of my hand. There really has not been a good process, in my opinion, of how they run their meetings, nor a legal process. But again, with what Christina was saying, is that if 40% or nearly 40% is going to be for private vehicles, why are we calling this a pedestrian plaza? We're taking away 40%, and what's left for the pedestrians? Additionally, under the law, and when you create pedestrian malls, it says that you cannot vacate any portion of the roadway or give up any portion of that roadway. It remains in control by the city. Yet you're granting it to the Special Improvement District to make a private corporate roadway. So, and again, as Christina said, yes, there is access via York Street, and it could be made that way. But what are we losing? We are losing our public gathering place. During the beginning of Council Solomon's ordinance, we were talking about inclusionary and diversity. Well, you may claim diversity, but we are not equal. And that's one thing I keep on demanding. I demand an equal city. All our diverse and cultural groups used to celebrate at the foot of Montgomery Street on the Hudson River. We had the beautiful backdrop, the breeze, and it could hold numerous quantities of people to celebrate their cultures, share the richness that they had to offer. And what has happened since the Exchange Place Alliance has taken over. They've all been kicked out, except for the 4th of July. And this may be the last 4th of July if they do some more construction. So I am incensed. We need to keep this an inclusionary space, as Mr. Solomon was saying, inclusionary. I also find some of their tactics are racist. The Alliance hires policing, which they have going around. I witnessed it last summer. They've hired their own police people to walk the walkway, and they have police cars circling every 40 minutes or so.
Thank you,
mostly
Jean.
kicking out
Thank you, Jean.
people of color. Yes, but they're kicking out people of color, and that is unfair and it's racist. Thank you.
Thank you. Your time has ended. Okay, this is still a public hearing on the Special Improvement District 2021-2022 Exchange Place Alliance assessment roll and budget. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. Okay, it looks like we have another caller to get patched in. Just bear with us while we get the next speaker on the line. I believe we have our next speaker on the line. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Charles Balser.
Okay, Charles, your time is going to start on my countdown. You are going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, yeah, this is Charles Balser on behalf of the Committee for the Conservation of the Cotton Monument and Historic Objects. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Exchange Place SID's budget. I support it, and I agree with I agree with their budget, and I support their budget, and I want to thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, this is still a public hearing on the Exchange Place Alliance Special Improvement District Assessment Roll and Budget 2021-2022. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting.
Sean, who was that last speaker?
Charles Balser.
Oh, Charles, okay, thanks. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Charles.
Call Yvonne Bowles. Call Yvonne Bowles.
Which phone number for Yvonne? Calling now.
Councilperson Bajiano, you're on. You want to put yourself on mute.
Okay.
Okay, this is the last call for the public hearing on the 2021-2022 Exchange Place Alliance Special Improvement District Assessment Roll and Budget. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. Okay, no one else has contacted me through the live event Q&A. May I have a motion to close the public hearing on the 2021-2022 Exchange Place Alliance Special Improvement District Assessment Roll and Budget?
Motion.
Motion made by Councilperson Prinzary. May I have a second? Was that second made by Councilperson Saleh? I think so. Yes,
Yep.
Thank you. On the motion to close the public hearing on the 2021-2022 Exchange Place Alliance Special Improvement District Budget and Assessment Roll, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano.
I just want an explanation. The money for this budget, a part of that budget is being used to renovate Exchange Place. Anybody have an answer?
Can we close the public hearing and then,
Well,
Yeah, this is to close the public hearing,
all right,
Councilperson.
okay, aye.
Thank you. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Lavarro.
aye.
And Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent to close the public hearing on the 2021-2022 Exchange Place Alliance Special Improvement District Budget and Assessment Roll. We're not taking a vote now on the actual resolutions. We do that when we're doing the resolutions, Councilperson Baggiano. So, I mean, I don't know if you want to ask the question again now.
Yeah, I want to know, as part of the money being budgeted here in this proposal for the renovation of Exchange Place.
I would like to answer that question as well. Can somebody just clarify that?
I mean, I'm not obviously on the SID. Councilwoman Waterman is on the board, Council President and Elizabeth, but that is my understanding. My understanding is in their budget, they have a capital project section, and the capital project section includes money for the renovation of Exchange Place.
Well, that's an out and out shame because none of us really know what's going on. That park, that area there belongs to the people of Jersey City. We have great events there, the Irish, the Italian, the Polish, the Spanish, the African Americans, and we've always been using that place for years and years. And all of a sudden these people come along and they try to cut everything out. It's a shame what's going on. And what they tried to do to the statue a couple of years ago was an out and out disgrace. I mean, we should see the plans, and I know there's a lawsuit that's been filed, but we should see the plans of what's going on. And this driveway and roadway taking a good part of this section of Exchange Place is absolutely wrong. When I think Gene Daly or somebody said they could use York Street.
Okay.
I mean, that's for the people of Jersey City, not for the people down that want to make a change down there and take away the rights of everybody in this city.
Alrighty. So now we're going to move on to our next public hearing for our next special improvement district, which is the 2021-2022 Journal Square Special Improvement District Assessment Roll and Budget. This is a public hearing on the 2021-2022 Journal Square Special Improvement District Assessment Roll and Budget. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. Okay, this is the last call for the public hearing on the 2021-2022 Journal Square Special Improvement District Assessment Roll and Budget. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. I believe we have our first speaker on the call. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Yes, it's Paul Tannenbaum. I'm calling on behalf of Gaia Journal Square UR.
Okay, Paul, if you can spell your last name for me, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Sure, it's T-A-N-N-E-N-B-A-U-M.
B-A-U-N. Thank you so much, Paul. Your
And
time,
like Michael.
your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Thank you. Yeah, again, I'm Paul Tannenbaum, and I am calling on behalf of, or I'm speaking on behalf of Gaia Journal Square UR, which is opposing the current assessment roll and requesting that it be modified. The currently the assessment roll consists of about 250 tax parcels or property tax parcels for the budget of $773,000. Gaia is responsible for about 15% of that budget, which is about $119,000. It's the only parcel in which it's over $100,000. The next highest payment is about $49,000. And there's maybe 12 property owners that pay between $10,000 and $50,000, and everybody else pays less. The issue for Gaia is that it appears that the way that the assessments are levied depends on whether you're exempt, devoted to retail, office, parking, or residential. And because of the way that's done, it has resulted again in Gaia, having what it considers to be a disproportionate amount of the burden for the special assessment. And so what the request is that the assessment roll be modified and that it be done in a way in which the benefits of being in the SID match or more closely or match the burdens, because as it is currently set, Gaia is bearing a disproportionate and arbitrary share of the total burden of the SID budget. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is still a public hearing on the 2021-2022 Journal Square Special Improvement District Assessment Roll and Budget. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. Anyone who has spoken on it, if you could please hang up the line so we can get their next caller patched through, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, this is the last call for the public hearing on the 2021-2022 Journal Square Special Improvement District Assessment Roll and Budget. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please provide me with your full name and telephone number through the live event Q&A, and we will patch you through the meeting. Okay, council members, no one else has contacted me through the live event Q&A. May I have a motion to close the public hearing on the 2021-2022 Journal Square Special Improvement District Assessment Roll and Budget?
Motion.
Motion made by Council President Pro Temp Rivera. May I have a second?
Second.
I'm gonna give it to Councilperson Prinzary. On the motion to close the public hearing on the 2021-2022 Journal Square Special Improvement District Assessment Roll and Budget, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Badiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon,
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson,
Aye.
Councilperson Labarra.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote yes to close. If Chris Bernardo is available, perhaps he can be available to speak on the questions raised by the gentleman from Gaia. When we approach this either now or later, we can get some clarification on some of the concerns raised there. Thanks. I vote aye.
Thank you. Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
I vote aye.
Motion carried 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent to close the public hearing on the 2021-2022 Journal Square Special Improvement District Assessment Roll and Budget. Okay, council members, we are now going to be moving on to our request for a hearing. I believe we have our first speaker on the call. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Cedric.
Cedric?
Cedric, Jacob. Yep.
Okay.
Cedric Jacob.
Thank you, Cedric. Your timer is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
I think this bathroom situation is clearly a joke, honestly, in my opinion. And I'm not trying to sit here and be ignorant, but it's definitely a joke because I don't think that we need to sit here and prove to people of how we use the bathroom and the stalls. When we go to the bathroom, that's our business. And I just feel like people like myself who is transgender and Black, we have to prove to people that how do we use the bathroom like with some new technology that's coming out in the new year. Because basically that's just telling me that, oh, well, I can't use the bathroom the way how I want to use the bathroom in my household if it's a problem outside in public bathrooms. And having the law saying you can't use this or you can't use that, that's the crap of BS. I don't feel like anyone should tell somebody I'm this, I could do, no. I just feel like we have a right to use whatever bathroom we feel like using because we're going to have to use the bathroom. Or not even only that, I just also feel like society wants us to hold our pee because we can't use a particular bathroom. You must want me to catch a UTI. So I honestly feel like there's no explanation or needed just for us to sit in a toilet where we use the number 1 or number 2. I just feel like this should not even be an issue. We should just be using the bathroom regularly with no problem. But it seems like society needs an explanation on why people who identify as what they identify to use the bathroom, give them a prime example. Why do you identify and why do you need to use this particular bathroom? There shouldn't be no answers. Let me use the bathroom in peace. Why is it such a problem all of a sudden about bathrooms? Just let somebody use the bathroom in peace. That's how I really feel about this whole situation.
Cedric, does that conclude your remarks?
Definitely. It has a lot to do with it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Cedric.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you. Okay, if we can just hang up the line so we can get our next speaker packed through. 5.2 declined to comment, as did 5.3. 5.4 went right to voicemail. So now we're moving on to 5.5. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Yvonne Bolser.
Okay, Yvonne, your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. Unfortunately, Councilwoman Waterman is not there. I sent her 2 different emails, and she promised me I would have this information. A month ago, I asked for the information on the MUA. How much would that impact our taxes? She told me I'll get the information back, and I did not receive it. Then I was told, I also asked about the tax bills, and I was told that I'll get the information, I forwarded her and the business office would contact me. So then 2 weeks ago, I asked for the same information again concerning the $87 million budget debt. And I have to say that previous administrations, when they floated bonds, they had more information than you guys have. And I really think it's kind of very strange that a citizen who pays taxes, you know, information isn't just that available. In the days before computers were used, information was provided because we had the meeting there. And I do not know why this council, which prides itself on openness, when you guys put together information, it is not there for the public to see it. It's just not there at all. Now, I don't know why. The simple question, when will I get the budget out so when we get our tax bills? That's not available in terms of the public. Information on the MUA, that's not available. Information on the debt, that's not available. Why can't information be available? I had been to other cities that had council meetings, and they always had their budget directors there all the time. I was personally told that John Metro would respond to my questions, and I sent emails out. I find Jersey City, you know, smaller towns, really small towns, have the information available. I have been to other small towns doing favors for people, videotaping the meetings, and I have seen how they operate. So it's not like something I didn't go. I have gone. The other issue I want to bring up has to do with what's on the news today. New York City, Newark, and including Jersey City, is now considering the area that has the worst traffic in the United States of America. We actually beat out L.A., which always had that title. Well, that's because New York and Jersey City, Pacific, I don't know about Newark, we got rid of, you know, we reduced the roads, the road diet, we put in bike lanes, and we are now considered number one with the worst traffic in the United States, number one. So good jobs, council people, good jobs. You made us number one in the worst traffic in the United States. And I think number two was something like Boston, but LA is way down there like number 5 now. I mean, you're going to have bad traffic when you get rid of when you introduce bike lanes and reduce the traffic. Thank you. I'm hoping I'll get information from this. Again, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Yvonne. Okay. Speaker 5.6 went to voicemail. We're moving on to 5.8. I'm not sure about 5.7. I'll get back to you on that. I believe we have our next speaker on the call. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Jean Daly.
Okay, Jean, your time is about to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, just a reminder, because we're now up to the resolution, 10.4 and 10.5 regarding the Exchange Place budget cannot be passed. There are a lot of questions and about the way they're treating people and the way they're trying to create an exclusive zone for affluent people. That area is for everybody in Jersey City. Moving forward, though, I'm looking at some of these contracts, specifically 10.28. It claims there were 4 bids for this, but why are they not showing what these other 3 bids were, what they were? These all should be documented. So, you know, we should have all 4 bids in front of us to read and compare. Similarly, 10.31, they say there were 5 bids. Where are these 5 bids? All of them. They should be put into these resolutions because there is a lot of bid rigging, which I can attest to and I found, and a lot of nepotism. Similarly, another problem in New Jersey, under 40A:11-7, says contracts are not to be divided. That's in procurement. So right now we've divided 10.32 and 10.33, which is delivery of diesel and one for delivery of gas, cannot be by law divided the way it is. And I'm very surprised that
other bidders were sought after. There are at least, well, Jersey City alone has 5 of the vendors who fall into that NAICS code. Newark has 12, Kearney has 4, Bayonne has 2. Why don't we get any other bids? This is really, really insane because we are going broke. And one way to stop going broke is to tighten up the budget and sew up the holes in your pockets. I'm also, again, going to go back to the Alliance. I think it's an outrage. Exchange Place is for the people. It always has been for the people. And as I recited before, that under municipal powers retained, Jersey City cannot give away its street for a private roadway. And again, I have shown plans on Twitter, et cetera, how it all can be accessed by York Street. It's very simple. We do not have any engineering plans. We don't have a single image or any type of schematic drawing. And this is according to the Exchange Place Alliance, yet they're going to do the construction starting in mid-September. So explain this to me. I know my time's up. Well, thank you very much for listening patiently. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much. Okay, speaker 5.7 went right to voicemail. And we are getting our next speaker on the line. Christina, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, your timer is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
In response to Councilmember Boggiano's question, the plans that and the renderings that I enclosed in my statement show clearly that these are plans and renderings from the website of the Exchange Place Alliance. I want to emphasize once again that there will be limited access from Montgomery Street, and children, in order to access the park, will need to cross the roadway, a private roadway for, as I and Jean Daly have stated, buildings that have easy access from York Street. Furthermore, the Exchange Place Alliance is refusing to meet with the community. The Kościuszko Foundation and I have been requesting meetings with the Exchange Place Alliance since last June, and there has been no response. They've simply selected a group of people from that does not communicate with the Polish community. In fact, Bogusława Huang, who is a longtime resident of Jersey City and is well known to you, does not even know what the plans are, because she has been ordered by the people that Ms. Wozniak and Mr. Balcer claim to represent not to speak or not to look at anything. Your approval, Mr. Boggiano, this evening will mean that the $7.5 million, which appears as a single line item in the budget for Exchange Place, will begin to be enacted as of the fall. Yet again, no filings have been made, no documents are available from any city, state, or federal agency that oversees the Exchange Place. With respect to the monument, there has been no consultation with any professional conservator or engineer who works on heavy sculptures of this kind. And that, again, leads one to question, how serious is this plan? How much security is there that the memorial will not be damaged? I really would ask you to reconsider and not approve this budget at this time until an open and true meeting occurs with the community, with presentation of full documentation. It can be on site. In fact, that's what we requested, with chalk marks showing where each part of the plans will intersect. I thank you for your attention, and if there are any questions, I'm willing to answer.
Okay, thank you very much. If we can just hang up the line so we can get our next speaker patched through, I greatly appreciate it. I believe we have our next speaker on the line. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Gary Spingarn.
Okay, Gary, your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
First, starting off, it looks like bike lanes are a perennial issue when it comes to city council meetings. I'd just like to remind everyone out there, I used to think that bike lanes added to traffic, and I was sorely mistaken based on independent studies and data. When it comes down to it, more roads do not reduce traffic, and really what does create traffic is driver habits. With that said, I want to get into what I really wanted to talk about. This is more of a personal thing for me. My background as an engineer. The catastrophic collapse of a condo building in South Florida should really be dominating the news cycle more than it is. An event like this, a failure like this, is beyond reproach. We have safeguards in place nationally and on the state level. Whatever your thoughts or misconceptions may be about Florida, I can bet you that there are people working there every day on multiple levels, checks and balances, to make sure that this never happens. And still, I'm an engineer who's been in very hazardous environments, and I just feel at my core that this is a result of an overall shifting attitude towards safety and regulation. I can tell you that all my friends from school have been talking about this constantly, and this should be a warning. We have lost lives. In a time like this, we need to take a good long look at what we are doing. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is our building department stronger here in New Jersey? Probably. Better regulations? Probably. Were inspections done post-Sandy? I hopefully assume so. However, it is that type of complacency that we must cast out. We also have lots of property near water. We also have buildings that go up several dozens of floors. Perhaps someone used precast concrete, knowing full well it places rebar closer to the surface, priming it for early corrosion. Did you know that? I didn't know that until I talked to a bunch of civil engineers I know. There's a whole world that I take for granted and so many residents take for granted that we have no idea about. With all the benefits Jersey City developers have enjoyed, perhaps they can step up to the plate and we do a big round of inspections to show that we need to take a good long look. We endorse safety. We have a positive attitude towards safety. I also call on the council to step up. We must cast out complacency. I know this in New Jersey. I know we have a lot of great people, but we need to pretend that it might happen, because it might happen. We need to bring safety to the forefront. Everyone out there in these positions can say it can never happen, and it just did. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to explain what a commitment to engineering safety looks like. And it looks like casting out all complacency and taking a good, hard look at what we have going on. And perhaps we should explore new inspections citywide. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay, if we just hang up the line so we can get our next speaker patched through, I greatly appreciate it. Speaker 5.11 went straight to voicemail, so we're looking to get our next speaker patched through the meeting. Just bear with us. .12 went right to voicemail, so we're moving on to 5.13. I believe we have our next speaker on the line. Hugh, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Okay, yes. All right, if you can identify yourself for the record.
Sure. Hugh Giordano from the United Food and Commercial Workers Union.
Okay, Hugh, your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yes, I will make my comments semi-brief. I just wanted to personally thank the city of Jersey City, the entire elected officials from the zoning board to the council for supporting the cannabis industry. And on top of that, I am happy that even within the zoning ordinance that there was labor peace requirements. And I hope that going forward, that the council will continue to strengthen labor standards within cannabis, just like the city of Bayonne did with their merit-based system, and to make sure that collective bargaining agreements are also part of the game plan for Jersey City. Labor peace agreements get workers to the table to organize without harassment, but a collective bargaining agreement is one that will make sure that they have their wages and benefits in an official union contract. So I just personally wanted to thank you, every one of you. I also wanted to thank Councilman Lavaro for being a champion of the working class. I know he cares deeply about working people, and I just wanted to personally put on record that the UFCW thanks him as well for taking a part in this conversation, as well as Council President, who is not here tonight, but she has also been instrumental, I know, in fighting for workers' rights. So I just once again want to thank you, and hopefully the future will be bright with good UFCW jobs from seed to sale in cannabis in Jersey City, create some good living wage jobs and good careers for the future. So thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you very much. Kay, I believe we have our next speaker on the line. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Yes, June Jones.
Okay, June, your time is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yes, good evening again, Council. I wanted to bring to your attention that last night there was a community meeting for the Municipal Harman Street Pool located at Harman Street in Jersey City. The meeting was poorly advertised, and most of the people who attended the meeting learned of the meeting just the night before and by word of mouth. The purpose of the meeting was to take the property slash parkland property off of the Rossi of the parkland and use the said property for alternative development. In spite of the poor advertising, which most people complained about, there was almost 50 people that participated in the meeting. That's how urgent and important this subject was. The purpose of the meeting was to notify the community that the city slash JCRA plans to start the process of an application to remove the parkland property off of the parkland Rossi. The facilitator, Eric Fleming, did the best he could, but it was not a very good presentation. No reflection to Eric, he only gave us what they gave him. Basic information such as property survey and appraisal could not even be conveyed because it wasn't done. I guess they didn't think it was important information for us to know. The community overwhelmingly said no to taking the parkland property off of the Rossi, but the community did agree that the use of this property should remain for public use and not for private development. I am asking this council to investigate the actions of the JCRA and their process on how they are implementing this process. Because the presentation was questionable and because there was questions that was not answered, the poor advertisement of the public meeting, we would consider this meeting a meeting of introduction and not a meeting that could be considered a general meeting with full dialogue. So we're asking that this meeting be considered a meeting of introduction and not documented in their application as a required meeting because it did not meet the requirements of the EPA required meeting. The JCRA and the city has taken or attempted to take in 3 acres of Berry Lane Park, which should be public land, public park land. It was designated as such, and now 2.8 acres from the Harman Street Pool. When is this takeover of public property going to stop? There should be full dialogue and full open transparency with the public and conversation that must be had before any action is taken. We ask that you stop this process, that you use your investigative powers, that you stop the application process of this taking over of this public process of the Harman Street pool. Thank you.
Thank you, June. Okay, if we can just take up the line so we can get our next speaker patched through, I greatly appreciate it. Okay, 5.15, refuse to speak. Next speaker is 5.16. I believe we have our next speaker on the line. If you can identify yourself for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Andrew Russo,
Okay.
Park and Prescott Neighborhood Association. Thanks.
Okay, Andrew, your timer is going to start on my countdown. You're going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yes, my fellow neighbor, June Jones, really raised the point. The reason why I'm here tonight is regarding the Harman Street pool. I would like to read a letter that a number of community members have helped co-sign. We will be sending to the New Jersey DEP. It reads, the undersigned community organizations, residents, and relevant stakeholders were standing to comment and to vote or otherwise participate in the upcoming elections hereby request that the City of Jersey City rescind or otherwise stay its pending request or pre-application to the NJDEP pertaining to the major disposal of the Harman Street pool located at 531 Municipal Avenue until such time as the city can, 1, demonstrate its full compliance with the proper scoping hearing notice requirements required under applicable regulation, and 2, sufficiently demonstrate to the local community that disposal of the Harman Street pool is a, quote, last resort, quote, necessary for a project that would satisfy a compelling public need or yield a significant public benefit, quote, and that there is no feasible, reasonable, and available alternative to the disposal. As you are aware, the Harman Street pool is designated as a protected parkland property under applicable New Jersey law and regulations pursuant to the Green Acres program as regulated by the NJDEP. As a general matter, the Green Acres program regulations state that it is the department's policy to strongly discourage the disposal or diversion of both funded and unfunded parkland. The use of parkland for other than recreation and conservation purposes should be a last resort and should only be considered by a local government unit or nonprofit when the proposed disposal or diversion is necessary for a project that would satisfy a compelling need or yield a significant public benefit. However, as of last night's public scoping hearing, notice of which was not made very public at all. In fact, no one was actually sent, property owners within 200 feet were not sent written notices. That was confirmed by the business administrator in the city. It is abundantly clear that the city's request to dispose of the Harman Street pool for quote unquote future redevelopment, which is undefined, is not a last resort, nor does it satisfy a compelling public need and would not yield a significant public benefit. In fact, the city has heretofore not shared its plans what this future redevelopment entails, and instead is particularly telling that the only information available is by appointment only. So I would like to join June in saying that, because of these, the letter goes on, and I think you get the gist. But the point is, we will be sending this to NJDEP. It's signed by, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different associations so far. And I would just counsel the council to please stay this proceeding so that the community can understand and appreciate what this project is going to be. Thank you.
Okay. Once we're done speaking, if we can hang up the line, I greatly appreciate it. 5.17 went right to voicemail. So that will conclude our public hearing requests. So moving on. Any questions on petitions and communications, item 6.1 through 6.19? It will actually be 6.20. There'll be one added to the meeting. And that would be the statement from Christina regarding the Special Improvement District of Exchange Place Alliance. Any questions or comments on Office of Communications 7.1 through 7.5? Hearing none. There are no report of directors. Council members, before we move on to the claims, I believe at the caucus we were discussing the tabled item number 11.18, City Ordinance 21-038. There was discussions about untabling that ordinance. But in order for me to move on that, I would need a motion to remove item 1118, City Ordinance 21-038 from the tabled agenda.
Motion.
Motion made by Councilperson Lavaro. May I have a second?
Oh, okay.
What are we removing from the table and what, like,
So this is the,
I know the number, but I don't have it in front, like I see it.
yeah,
It's 1118. Was it attached to the agenda or?
it is, it's an ordinance acknowledging the transfer and assignment of the property known as 16 Bennett Street, Jersey City, Block 20702, Lot 6001, and consenting to the transfer of the tax exemption held by 16 Bennett Street Urban Renewal LLC to 16 Bennett JC Urban Renewal LLC pursuant to Section 9.1 of the financial agreement and NJSA 40A:20-22 of the long-term tax exemption law.
Is the ordinance attached? I mean, not just like what the ordinance title is, but is it attached as well, or we'd have to pull it up?
I would have to pull that up from the 6/16 meeting.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a second by Council President Pro Temp Rivera to remove item 1118, City Ordinance 21-038 from the tabled agenda. On the motion, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano. Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye, it was unmuted, it wouldn't come off.
No problem. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Lavaro.
Aye.
And Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent to remove item 1118, City Ordinance 21-038 from the tabled agenda. This ordinance was tabled after the close of the public hearing at the June 16, 2021 meeting on a motion by Councilperson Rivera or Council President Pro Temp Rivera and seconded by Councilperson Prinzary. So this ordinance does not require another public hearing. If you would like to have a discussion, I believe any questions that you may have, I believe we have a representative on the line to answer any questions regarding this ordinance before I take a final vote on City Ordinance 21-038. Does any council members have any questions? Hearing. Okay.
Can they just do a brief background on this?
Jonathan, are you on the line?
Good evening, council. Yes, I'm on the line on behalf of US Rem Property LLC, the transferee in connection with the financial agreement.
Okay. All right. So this is a lease agreement, correct?
This is a financial agreement that's going to be transferred in the information that was requested for a reason of being tabled regards to audited financials were provided by the seller to the City of Jersey City Division of Taxation.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Does any other council member have any questions for Jonathan? All right, hearing none. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 21-038, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Lavaro.
Aye.
and Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Aye.
City Ordinance 21-038 is adopted 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent. Thank you, Jonathan. Okay. Moving on.
Thank you, council. Have a good evening.
Moving on to our claims list, Medicare claims and claims and addendum number 1. Council members, I'm going to be taking a vote on the claims, Medicare claims, and addendum number 1. Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Lavaro.
Aye.
And Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Aye.
Claims, Medicare claims and addendum number 1 are approved 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent. Okay, moving on to our resolutions. I'm going to be taking a vote, council members, on items 10.1 through 10.15. Again, that's 10.1 through 10.15.
Things place pulled until we get further information.
Can you repeat that, Councilperson Baggiano, because you were breaking up in the beginning?
Is it possible to have 10.4 and 10.5, which are both the exchange place SID, until we get further information and we solve some of these questions and problems that people are asking?
Are you making a motion?
Yes. I understand that John Metro might be involved, have to be involved with this.
Councilman, if you were entertaining a motion, but we did have the public speaking tonight on the budget, and the formality is that we usually pass the assessment roll and the budget at the same night of the public hearing.
Yeah, but the problem is here, we haven't gotten any clarification as to what's going on at Exchange Place. There's a lawsuit involved now that we understand, and we just found out that a good part of that area is going to be taken up with this road to convenience the hotel, which can go through York Street. So a lot of these things weren't brought up in the past, and nobody's given us any information on this.
Sean, Councilman has a motion, if there's a second.
So there's a motion to withdraw items 10.4 and 10.5 made by Councilperson Baggiano. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilperson Saleh. On the motion to withdraw items 10.4 and 10.5, Councilperson Ridley.
Sean, I just have a question. I guess we can direct it, I guess, to John. With accepting their budget at this time, does that still leave space for us to investigate what the residents asked for, correct? That doesn't tie us to any of the designs that are currently going on.
Sure, the SIDs will have their monthly meetings in which the public can still attend, as well as the council could reach out to each of the SID directors for any particular questions on these projects before they move forward.
And they don't seem to give any answers, even at the meetings. So you heard what somebody said, they throw people out,
It's also if the council has the request to have a meeting, formal meeting with each director, we could facilitate that as well.
May I ask a question? Is the design subject to council approval?
I don't know the particulars on that, Councilman.
Yeah.
So they have a line that is for the construction. Do we as a council get to, I guess, tell them what they need to do with it? Is that our job?
Law department, if you're on, maybe you could help me with this as far as procedures.
Procedurally, as long as the council approves the budget and the SID spends the money consistent with how the budget is outlined, if you're giving the blessing to them to spend it how the budget states. Now, in terms of any additional construction projects, to the extent that requires council approval based upon any construction in the right of way or any other government money that may be used as part of that construction, they may have to come to the council in the future for approvals. And as it would be a construction in the Exchange Place Plaza, which is city property, they probably would.
May I follow up on that question, which is, again, just in terms of the designs and the contracts, the vendors, all of that as it pertains to the pier itself and the public properties that are owned by the city, are they subject to having to have that, those designs and those contracts? Is it subject to council approval?
I honestly don't know the details about the vendors they're planning on using or what exactly they're planning on doing. I would imagine, like I said, that if it's going to be constructed on city property, whatever they propose, while maybe using their funding, they would have to abide by getting council approval before they could construct it. But again, I have not seen the plans. I've not been privy to what the plans are for that area.
That's the problem. None of us have. And they say they're going to start in 2 months or it's going to be finished by September or something.
So this is Councilman Solomon. I mean, again, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not on the board of the Exchange Place SID. My understanding from speaking with them is that they do not have to come back to the city council for any approval on their design. They do need to go before the planning board and present it to the planning board, which has whatever criteria they use. When we discussed this, I think months ago, the director of the SID had promised a public meeting before any project would move forward, which would include the local neighborhood association and others. As far as I know, that meeting hasn't been scheduled, but that is also not a legal requirement. That was simply her kind of public commitment to host a public meeting before any construction would occur. So again, I'm just telling you what I believe to be the case from my conversations, but that I don't believe their design has to go before city council. It does have to go before planning board, and there is a non-binding commitment to hold a public meeting.
Councilman Solomon, when is that public meeting scheduled for?
I don't believe it's been scheduled. We would have to talk to Director Kane about when she intends to host it. And like I said, I don't think it's a legal requirement. It's just something she said she would do.
Well, as I said, that property.
BA, is this I'm sorry, Councilman Boyzano.
I'm sorry.
BA, is this like a rush? Is this mandatory to pass tonight? Is it something we definitely need to do tonight?
Good question, Councilman. It's nothing that's mandatory on the timeline. However, we did push this to this meeting from a prior meeting to entertain some other questions. And we did have the SID director at the caucus on Monday night to yield any questions.
Yeah, and we didn't get the answers. John.
We also publicly advertised the budget and the assessment roll and sent out certified mailers to all of the affected property owners, which we are required to do for every special improvement district.
But Sean, that's the point. You send them to the property owners, but we've had affairs down there for the last 40, 50 years. Every denomination of, all the associations and everything, we've had parties there, and this is being taken away from us, being taken away from the people of Jersey City as a whole. And all this has to be explained. Nothing has been really explained. And Michael Young and I really fought hard on this issue with the statue. And a lot of the people that were involved with the statue have been calling, and they want to know more of what's going on. They understand part of the blocks of the statue are going to be removed. They want to do this, they want to do that. Nothing has been explained to the people. And this is our city. It doesn't belong to the certain individuals down the waterfront there.
So we can move on with your motion to withdraw items 10.4 and 10.5. You do have a second by Councilperson Saleh, so I can take a vote on the motion to withdraw items 10.4 and 10.5. Councilperson Ridley.
Okay, since I wasn't at the caucus to hear the presentation, I do have some notes and I've read through all the documents, but I wasn't physically there to listen to that presentation. And because I understand the concerns of the residents and Councilman Borgiano, I'm going to abstain on this. But what I am asking is that, similar to what John Metro said, if we could have a meeting, I guess, with the council, and when council president is here, you know, she's a member of that board, to get a better understanding. And if we could include Director Goodman from Cultural Affairs in that meeting, because every time we bring up this topic of the waterfront not being used by groups anymore, we're told that that is a decision of Cultural Affairs. So I think it would be good to have everybody in the room, because everybody does have a lot of questions about this. So I'm going to abstain.
Okay, Councilperson Prince Airy.
No.
Councilperson Bajano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Muted, Councilman.
I'm business friendly, but I'm for the people. I want answers. I think that, they're entitled to get those answers. And I vote aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Just very briefly, I don't think there's a harm in delaying. At the same point, we've had this come before us a couple of times and have talked through it, and I am at least comfortable with what's been proposed, assuming people stick by their word of having a public meeting in the future to review all of this, and then the planning board meeting. So I vote no.
You vote no, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Councilperson Robinson.
I really would like the council president to be here, because she is a part of that board. But we usually try to let the ward council person go be a part of it. And I think the council person from downtown said no, because I think he's been. Have you been in the meetings, Councilman Solomon? I'm not sure. Like you said no for a reason.
I mean, I haven't been in the meetings. The last time I met with Director Kane was, roughly, 9 months ago, but she did present a design at that time, which includes more green space. And it was my understanding that that design has been shared publicly and people have seen it. I understand that there may be some follow-up questions on that front. And so, I mean, the short answer, I don't feel strongly like I'm voted no, because I feel like we've discussed it a few times already, but, that's where we're at. So that's my sort of quick, explanation. And
so there needs to be a public meeting. It needs to go before the planning, and BA do it after planning. Will it come back before the council again?
No.
I don't believe so, Councilman. It would just be contingent upon, making sure that the plans are to code and that, they're satisfied from a structural standpoint.
All right. So I mean, I don't think I would feel right holding up their budget. So I'm going to vote no for for tabling this. And I just want to make sure that we get a public meeting, and it should be before the planning board. If not, then we're going to have a lot of angry people at the planning board meeting, and the planning board would be able to decide from there whether this is the right thing to do.
Okay. Thank you. Councilperson Lavarro.
So I'm personally, a couple of things. Let me start first. As it pertains to the statute, and I was a little thrown off by Ms. Wozniak's comments as well. I hadn't heard from the group leading into this, and so I gather there is some maybe dissension or difference of opinions about the level of information that's been shared with the various Polish community or statute advocates on this. So there's some uncertainty there for me on that front. That being said, Councilman Boggiano raises a good point. This has been an ongoing as long as, for the last 8 years or so, in terms of, as things have evolved here in Jersey City, and the use of the waterfront. And over the last several years prior to COVID, it really was, I heard from groups, community groups, as to the access and use of the pier and the waterfront around that, for public events that were very commonplace here in Jersey City, and that were, that many communities had utilized. In fact, I've gotten a recent complaint about it, right? So there was like a kind of a dance event and activity that had been pre-COVID, been held there, and permits were denied there. I've meant to follow up on that as well, and don't have just learned about this and don't have clarity or explanation. I'd like to get clarity and explanation about how the public is being able to has access to this. As we look at the 4th of July, I did want to also raise that question with Director Goodman. We have the in the past, like who has access to these facilities and space and so forth, particularly the vendors and other things of that nature, and how that'll be done. We need to make sure that Jersey City's communities have access to this public space, this public asset, to the views that we're all entitled to. So that being said, I don't have also enough information about the kind of the design myself. Although if Councilman Solomon and Council President involved there in those respects, I certainly if they have strong opinions about that, or if they have an opinion about the designs, then I'll defer to them, as I've not been very involved in that. But overall, given the uncertainty that I have at this time, I'm going to vote yes to table, so that we can get more information, so that I can make a better decision moving forward.
And Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
So a couple of things. I respect the what the ward council person spoke about, and I'm sure he's been somewhat engaged in what's happening with the with this project. The only confusion I have is that we were Monday, the SID representatives were here. None of this was brought up. I mean, there were some concerns. I'm not sure if the follow-throughs went through, but they were here, and these specific questions weren't asked, if I'm not mistaken. Also, just to be clear, because it's been lingering for the past several years, and I'm going to be specific with the Puerto Rican Day Parade Committee, with the Puerto Rican Day Parade festivities. The Exchange Place SID did not kick the Puerto Rican Day Parade Committee or their activities out of the Exchange Place area. Just to be very clear, the committee chose to go by Ferris High School because prior to 20 years, that's where it used to be. And then it moved to 18th Street, just to be clear with the history of these events. We're probably going to go to the Exchange Place this year, or maybe back to Ferris, but let's just be very clear with that. They had nothing to do with that. The committee chose to go to Ferris and chose to bring back these events to where it used to be. So, again, I feel that, the SID personnel was here on Monday, and we didn't ask maybe enough questions, but, I'm going to vote no to pull it.
Okay. Motion fails. 3, 4, 1. So we have council members Bajiano, Saleh, and Labarra voting yes, and an abstention made by Councilperson Ridley and Council President Waterman absent. Motion fails 3-4-1. So council members, I'll be taking a vote on items 10.1 through 10.15. Again, that's 10.1 through 10.15. Councilperson Ridley.
On 10, I just want to say thank you to Father Tom for all his work while he was here in Jersey City, and he will be leaving us. And on 10/11, I just want to send my prayers out to the family of Mr. Fuqua, who is a Jersey City legend. And with that, I vote aye on all.
Thank you, Councilperson Prinzary.
To Father Tom, thank you for everything that you've done for your communities in Jersey City, providing a place of worship and a place where people felt welcome, regardless of who they were, regardless of their station. And Owen Mills's gain is definitely our loss. I wish you and your family the best. And to the Fuqua family, you're in my prayers. Take good care. And I'm voting aye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Councilperson Bajiano.
No on 10-4 and no on 10-5, and we'll see what the lawsuit says. It's a shame that this wasn't polled. I vote yes on the rest.
Thank you. Councilperson Saleh.
I vote aye for all, with the exception of 10-4, 10-5. I think we need more answers. It doesn't seem like there's a rush to approve this, or that it's time sensitive. I think if we pulled it and waited till the next meeting in July, that would have been good, so that we get those answers for the community. I just think that these questions that were brought up today weren't brought up on Monday, and they're important questions, like if there's going to be public lands that are going to be privatized, and what the designs look like. We need to know that. And Michael Youn, the late Councilman Michael Youn, Councilman Bogiano worked hard to protect that monument, and I also made the commitment to that community that I would protect it as well. And with that, I vote no on 10-4, 10-5, and aye on the rest.
Thank you. Councilperson Solomon.
No, aye for all.
Councilperson Robinson.
I thought we said that if we were going to be dedicating public land for private use, it had to come back before council. Was that correct? Because I think Councilman Saleh just said something different, that they could just move forward and take public land without coming back before the council. BA, can you answer that for me?
I think that's more of a legal question, if Nick could chime in.
Nick, or
yeah, anytime you're talking about the disposition of public lands, that is something that has to be done by the governing body. But I don't think that's what the plans for Exchange Place call for. Again, I don't know. I haven't looked at the plans. I don't know the details of it. I don't know exactly what they would need, what procedurally they need to do based upon what they want to do. But anytime there's a disposition of public land where you sell or you lease public property to any other entity, it needs to be an ordinance. The ordinance tonight for Container Village to go to the EDA, it was done by ordinance. So if that's what's happening, then it would be an ordinance. But I don't think, what we're talking about tonight, that it's actually going to be this sale or disposition of public property as part of this project.
That's the problem. Nobody knows anything.
I mean, I definitely would vote no if we were voting to give them some public land right now. But I would just want to clarify that. For Teen Magazine, giving away a car to a worthy senior, I wasn't able to attend the program, but I'm sure that senior was very, very proud. And I just wanted to, really publicly say thank you to Pastor McReynolds and First Lady for, putting Teen Magazine on for the last umpteen years, and this year really going all the way out and donating a car. And I think that's an amazing feat for an organization to, and I've been working with them for a long time, but that's an amazing feat to be able to give a senior a car that will change that senior's life forever. And I hope it, sparks an interest in the rest of the students that will be graduating next year, that if they do the right things, maybe a car be waiting for them. Father Tom, thank you, congratulations, and Mr. Fuqua, the family. He was, one of the first legends that I ever met, and I got a chance to speak at the funeral, and I just really wanted to, just say thank you to the family, because he was such an amazing man and such an amazing person, and he's inspired not just myself, but a lot of, business owners and minority business owners in the community. So I just want to say condolences, thank you to the family, and I vote aye for all.
Thank you, Councilperson LeVara.
Yeah, let me begin with offering my condolences to the Fuqua family and to all those who have been touched by Arlie Fuqua's life, and thank you for the contributions made to Jersey City. For Father Tom, good luck in your ventures and your new endeavors as you move to Maryland. Thank you for all you've done for Jersey City as well. We thank you as you move on in your journey in life, and God bless you. And then to Mount Olive Baptist Church and the Teen Magazine, to Reverend McReynolds, Pastor McReynolds, and First Lady McReynolds. Thank you for your continued work with the Teen Magazine, and for the difference you make in all the youth's lives, as well as seniors' lives, I guess, at this point, with the donation of the car. So let me just get now to 10.4 and 10.5. I will be voting no on 10.4 and 10.5. I think there are unanswered questions here for me, and it is unfortunate that it just got raised today, but and we should have hashed this out on Monday. I do think there is time to address this, but even though these budgets pass, these questions still need to be addressed. And so I'm going to ask for Corporation Counsel and to the acting business administrator, the question as to whether or not the city council will be approving any designs, or that they're subject to simply to planning board or the vendors themselves. I think the city council should be privy to that, and I know I'm not currently on any of those fronts, and but certainly if Council President Waterman comes in and tells us that she's aware of all of these things, and I feel like by approving this budget, we lose some leverage in doing that. I'd also ask if you could provide us with copies of the legislation authorizing the Exchange Place Alliance, so we can review that and see what their authority is as it pertains to the pier and the public lands there, and what we maintain as our rights, because it's our property. And so, and then the last thing is just to have questions answered about the use of the property itself, what that process looks like, and in terms of public applications to utilize the properties. It is not just throughout the years, as Councilman Bogiano pointed out, the Irish Festival was there, the West Indian, Caribbean, LGBTQ parades were there. The Philippine events were there at one time, although they've voluntarily moved down to West Side Avenue in Lincoln Park. And then, as I just mentioned, and then I should say the other one that I'm certain about is that the Indian community with the event that they had over there on the waterfront, which they ended up taking to Hoboken. And I know that they were not pleased with that several years ago when that happened pre-COVID. So there are questions unanswered there, and they should be answered, and we should make sure that we protect that and make sure that, again, these are public waterfront lands that provide all the Jersey City residents an opportunity for those beautiful views and the opportunity to celebrate Jersey City and celebrate life here in Jersey City. So I'm going to ask that we get information about that. Again, the Exchange Place Alliances, the ordinances enabling them, and any agreements that we may have with the Exchange Place Alliance around that, so that we can review that and see what our rights are and what our authority is as it pertains to the improvements that are going to be coming to that area. I vote aye on all the rest and no on 4 and 5.
Thank you. And Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
To the Pastor McReynolds, you guys are amazing. Thank you for what you did for what you always do for our local youth throughout the city. Not just with what you did with the card, but you continue to provide for families throughout the city, and that doesn't go unnoticed. Father Thomas, thank you for your legacy. You've been amazing. Good luck in the future. Thoughts and prayers for Mr. Fuqua. And I vote aye on all the rest.
I'm sorry, you're voting aye on all?
That's correct.
Thank you, Council President Pro Temp Rivera. Okay, just to recap, items 10.1 through 10.3 are approved 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent. Item 10.4 is approved 5-3 with Council members Baggiano, Saleh, and Lavaro voting no. Item 10.5 is approved 5-3 with Council members Baggiano, Saleh, and Lavaro voting no. Items 10.6 through 10.15 are approved 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent.
Sean?
Yep.
This is Councilman LeVar. I made a mistake with one of my votes there. I need to vote no on 10.1 as well. That temporary budget includes the funding for architecture, and nothing against architecture, but it's covering that FC3 architecture firm, which is doing the work on the library. I voted no on that when it came before the council, and these additional funds will allow for that to move forward as well. So I'm changing my vote to no on 10.1.
So just to recap, item 10.1 is approved 7-1 with Councilperson Lavaro voting no. Items 10.2 and 3 are approved 8-0. Items 10.4 and 5 are approved 5-3 with Council members Baggiano, Saleh, Lavaro voting no. And items 10.6 through 10.15 are approved 8-0 with all resolutions. Council President Waterman is absent. Okay. On to our next set of resolutions, items 10.16 through 10.26. Again, that's items 10.16 through 10.26. Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye for all.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye for all.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye for all.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Lavaro.
Yeah, a couple of things on 1021 and 1020 and 1021. I had asked for budget information. Was basically told that given the purpose of the grant, and I understand what the purpose of the grant is, but had asked for information about the budget. I'm still going to vote yes for these, but I would like the budget information. And looking at the RFP on this, the goals of these grants include in the vaccination grant on 1020, one of the goals is vaccinating underserved communities with the use of vaccine strike teams, mobile vaccine clinics, satellite clinics, temporary offsite clinics. And it also includes leveraging local partnerships to increase COVID-19 vaccine confidence in racial and ethnic minorities and increase accessibility for people with disabilities. So I would like to see that budget as soon as possible. I want to make sure that we're utilizing it for those purposes. Specifically, we know that we have a disproportionate number of people who are not necessarily in here throughout the nation. I don't know what the numbers are locally, but disproportionate number of folks who are minorities and underserved communities who are not getting the vaccines. So if we can get the budget on that one. And then on the other grant, there's also a vulnerable populations coordination. And so it provides funding to assess, mitigate, and respond to the social health impacts of COVID-19 on at-risk populations through targeted outreach to vulnerable populations by enabling, allowing for the hiring of a full-time vulnerable populations outreach coordinator, as I understand it. So the salary, I think on that was over 6 figures. I'd like to know what whether we've hired someone there. Again, if you could share the budget and provide the itemized budget on that. It should be available, easily available, frankly, because the grant was submitted. And so it should have an itemized detailed budget of some of the specific things that were included in that budget. And then if there's anyone who's been hired on either of those budgets, I would also like to know that information as well, as to the hiring and staffing around that, and who was hired and what the qualifications for those folks were. Again, because I'm looking again at what their qualifications are in addressing those vulnerable populations and doing the sort of outreach that we need to achieve to get those vaccines out to the vulnerable populations. And then lastly, on 10.25 on the CCTV, still would like the list. I know JCPD is working on it, a master list of all of the CCTV camera locations. Please get us that as soon as possible. And I vote aye on all.
Thank you, and Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Aye.
Okay, items 10.16 through 10.26 are approved 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent. On to items 10.27 through 10.25. Excuse me, 10.35. 10.27 through 10.35. Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye for all.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye for all.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye for all.
Councilperson Solomon.
I'm very excited to see the dog run repairs at Van Dorst and Hamilton move forward, and thanks to the community groups and Brian Weller and Councilman Prinzary and a number of folks who helped move it forward. So with that, aye for all.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye for all.
Councilperson LeBarrow.
On 10.28, I know one of Gene Daly had mentioned that there were no other bidders, but actually we in our documentation that's before the council, I don't know what's out there on the public documentation there, but I assume it's the same. They are the low bidder on that one, just to be clear. There were multiple bidders in there, and the information was provided as to how much each of those bidders provided. On 10.31, the same, the award there to Paterno Giordano Construction. They were also the low bidder, according to the records and information I have there. And then, although on 10.29, I don't have any information, it looks like it was awarded by state contract. Given I don't, I didn't catch that, I thank Gene for bringing that to my attention. I'm going to abstain on 10.29, not in opposition to the project itself, but would like to know why why it didn't go out to bid in that particular case. On 1032 and 1033, I had voted no in the past on 1032, in part because of Gene raising, I think last time, raising similar concerns about the kind of the bidding and the fact that there was no other bids here, for diesel and gas. Although I did not vote no on 1033. Both of those contracts, the last ones were awarded, the effective start dates were May 2020, going till May 2021. And these contracts go from July 2021 to June 2022. So there's a gap, and now I'm just reviewing it because of Gene's diligence here. There seems to be a gap in service from mid-May to June through June, because the contract is covering through July. So I would like clarification on that. I'm going to vote no on both of those, 32 and 33, but would like clarification on that gap and why, whether there was service provided during that period, and if there were any invoices for that period as well for service provided for diesel and gas. I would be surprised if there weren't. And I vote aye on all the rest. Oh, how far are we going to? I'm sorry.
35.
35, okay.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay. And Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
Aye.
Okay. Allow me to recap. Items 10.27 through 10.28 are approved 8-0 with Councilperson Waterman absent. Item 10.29 is approved 7-0-1 with Councilperson Lavaro abstaining. Council President Waterman absent. Item 10.30 and 31 is approved 8-0. Item 10.32 is approved 7-1 with Councilperson Lavaro voting no and Council President Waterman absent. Item 10.33 is also approved 7-1 with Councilperson Lavaro voting no and Council President Waterman absent. Items 10.34 and 35 are approved 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent. For the balance of our resolutions, items 10.36 through 10.39. Again, that's items 10.36 through 10.39. Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye for all.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Robinson.
Aye.
Councilperson Lavaro.
To the BA, were you looking into the 10.36?
Councilman, I believe-
Actually, Councilman, that was actually, I had said that at the last meeting. What happened was when you approved this contract back in May, it was actually an incorrect account number. So this is actually just correcting the account number, but it's for the same matter. So that's the reason it came back onto your council agenda.
Okay. So I wasn't aware of that. So I'm going to have to abstain because I didn't look to see what my vote was previously on that. If that's the case, and then actually on 38 and 39, I'm going to abstain as well, pending the look for the closed session on that for more information about the status of these two contracts, which are now running over $300,000 each for each of these legal contracts. And I'll vote yes on the 37.
Okay, so if I just ask you, you're abstaining on 1036 and 1038?
1036, 38, 39, I think, right? Is that? Yeah.
38 and 39?
Correct.
And then I on 37.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you. Councilperson Pro Temp Council President Pro Temp Rivera.
I vote aye on all of them. Thank you to the Corporation Council for clarifying 10.38 for me yesterday. I vote aye on them.
Thank you. Okay, if you can just allow me to recap. Item 10.36 is approved 7-0-1 with Councilperson Navarro abstaining and Council President Waterman absent.
Sean,
Yes,
I'm sorry, can I just make a clarifying statement after Councilman Rivera's, Council President Pro Tem? So I stand corrected. We were not going to have a closed session. We're supposed to reach out individually. I didn't do that leading into this meeting. But my vote still stands. I'm still abstaining. I didn't get the information, and that's on me. So.
okay.
Okay.
Item 10.36 is approved 7-0-1 with Councilperson Navarro abstaining. Item 10.37 is approved 8-0 with Council President Waterman absent. Item 10.38 is approved 7-0-1 with Councilperson Navarro abstaining, Council President Waterman absent. And item 10.39 is approved 7-0-1 with Councilperson Navarro abstaining and Council President Waterman absent. If anyone doesn't have anything else, may I have a motion to adjourn at 8:59 p.m.?
Motion.
Motion made by Council President Pro Temp Rivera, and I'll give the close second to the motion to Council Person Pranderi. On the motion to adjourn at 8:59 p.m., all council members present by acclamation, please say aye.
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 We are out of here at 8:59 p.m. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night. Please continue to do what you're doing. Stay safe out there and be diligent. Always remember, teamwork makes the dream work. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, team. Bye.
Good night, everyone.